Upon us. Between September 25th and September 27th, Israelis will observe Rosh Hashanah, the Feast of Trumpets, and Hamas is also gearing up for the high holidays, but not in a positive, celebratory way, to say the least. Hamas leader Mohammed al-Zahar, speaking in Gaza today, threatened, quote, an open religious war against Israel over Israel's supposed violations, in his words, of the Temple Mount and the city of Jerusalem, which is the ancient and eternal capital of Israel and the Jewish people. Now, number one, folks, something to keep in mind here, we've seen an uptick in terrorism out of the West Bank, which we call here on the newscast Judea and Samaria, because that's what the Bible calls it. That region is the biblical heartland of the land of Israel. Nonetheless, we've seen an uptick in attack, in particular the city of Nablus in the West Bank. Also, we had a Palestinian from the West Bank murder an elderly Israeli woman just this week. She was 84 years old. She was beaten to death by this man. So an uptick in terror for sure. Israel is on high alert right now as the high holidays approach, and we see Hamas once again focusing on the Temple Mount, this Iran-backed terror group which rules Gaza with an iron fist and which is trying to increase its presence and influence in the West Bank, Judea and Samaria, as I speak, has painted itself as the guardian of the Al-Aqsa Mosque, which of course today sits atop the Temple Mount, to the point where Hamas in May 2021 instigated a war over the Temple Mount. And secondly, they tried to instigate another war this past spring, 2022. There was an increase in hostilities with Israel, of course, but ultimately, thankfully, a major war did not break out. But it seems that every time some sort of Jewish holy day, we had Passover, of course, in the spring, or now the high holidays are coming, every time some pivotal moment for Israel and the Jewish people comes up on the calendar, Hamas starts to levy threats and starts to talk about Jerusalem and the Temple Mount and how it is theirs and not Israel's. Well, newsflash, Jerusalem belongs